right. Let's this is pretty good. Just getting set up here on Facebook too. We're gonna be going in just a few minutes. Okay, I think we're good here. I think we're going at two different spots at once here. All right, I'm just seeing how things are going with my... I'm trying to stream to two places at once today, Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on either one of those, welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. We're gonna be doing our personal statement writing in just a moment here. I'm just making sure that everything is running good, but it looks like it is so far. Let's see. Saying that looks like it's working okay. What do you mean high resolution? Yeah, the resolution's fine. All right, I think we're okay. So let's get to it. We're starting just a couple minutes early because I wanted to be on time. So we're gonna see these things in just a second. We're actually gonna start here. Okay, so the whole point today is to show you guys how to write a personal statement for the Common App, okay? But this also works for other kinds of personal essays or personal statements of any kind. It's really just a type of essay where you get to speak a little bit about yourself. I recently just did a video about this in the last Thursday video that came out, talking about personal statements and what they do and what they're for. So if you haven't checked that out, you should probably check that out later, but don't leave yet if you're watching live. Like, you know, you can watch that video and get a better idea of what we're trying to do. But we're gonna be going through this process live. I wanna walk you through the process of writing a personal statement. There's one part that I can't show you, which is the part before all of this. And that part is thinking, okay? It's really important for you to think about your writing when you're not writing. Like, you should be meditating on it during the day. You should just be like daydreaming a little bit about what you want to write about and what would be kind of like a important thing about yourself that you want to share with people. That's something that I've been doing over the last couple weeks. Like, I knew I was going to write this and I've been thinking about it quite a bit. Like, I've been pondering and kind of wondering how to write this the best way. And so I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's helped me, I think, to, you know, improve what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start this process actually not in a Word document, but instead in OneNote, because I want to write down some notes and some ideas. I want to do a little bit of like kind of outlining my work. It's really important that before you start writing something, you come up with an outline, sort of a structure for what you want to do. So there's a couple of things I would recommend that you do. For example, the first thing I would say is try to think of a theme. Like, what's the central theme? If you could summarize that in a single word, that would be a really good way to go. I already know what mine's going to be, and because I have D&D night tonight, I want to get through this in a relatively reasonable amount of time. So this process will be a little bit accelerated, but mine is truth. And there's my bad handwriting on full display for everyone. So truth is the theme of this essay that I'm going to write. It's kind of you'll see how it makes sense when we start writing it, and how important this concept is to me, and not only like to me because I care about it, but also like because it's a major part of my life and what I want to do. I'm also going to be writing this from the perspective of someone who hasn't done bachelor's degrees yet. Like, I'm an undergrad student writing this. Obviously it's different because I'm an adult and I've already graduated and I have like, a different life now than I would have had when I was like 18. But at the same time, I think I can still transmit the same idea in the way that you might have to transmit it soon. So that's kind of my main theme here, is this theme of truth. Now, I want to think a little bit about what I'm going to do with this. And so I know, like with my introduction, my intro is going to play on this idea of the truth. And that'll make a lot more sense when I start writing it. But this has a lot to do with my upbringing and where I'm from and stuff like that. So this is going to be in there. I know that I want to play a little bit with this idea of the truth and like even with these quotes to kind of make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to play with that idea. Then what I want to do is kind of like, how I found truth. This is kind of related to this intro and how I found truth and how I got out of the truth, as it will make sense. Again, this process is only going to make a lot of sense to me, and it'll make more sense to you if you watch through and you see how this plays out. So like, then I want to get into how that motivates my goals. Okay. And this is the thing that's important. I've talked about this and I mentioned it in the last video. You need to think about the future. It's not just enough for you to be like, oh yeah, okay, I want to study this. Like, no, you need to think about your future beyond graduation. Like, what do you see yourself doing here? And why is this stuff that has happened in your life so important to this? So I'm going to talk about how that motivates my goals. And then I'm going to get into like what those goals are. Okay. Because that's the stuff that universities really need to see. And I also need to get into like my plan. So instead of making this whole personal statement about these first two parts and sort of just ending it there, I really want to like try to focus less on my past experiences and more on my future goals and future experiences. I think that's something that's extremely overlooked right now. A lot of people, and don't get me wrong, again, a great personal statement can be made by focusing on your struggles and the things that you've overcome in life, but it's not necessarily the best approach. And I think that the person with a plan is more impressive. I will always stand by that. I'm going to be drinking coffee, so deal with it. So that's kind of my structure. And I have these like 5 points that I want to get through. And that's what I'm going to try to write. So this is my central theme, is this idea of truth. I'm going to intro how I was in the truth, which you'll understand in a moment. How I found real truth and how that motivates my goals and what those goals are and my plan for achieving those goals, which obviously is going to involve my education and my need to learn at a university. So with this little outline, I kind of have an idea of what I want to write. It's going to make it a little easier for me to continue writing because I'm not going to finish one part and then be stuck and be like, what do I do now? I don't know. I have an outline here that I can use to sort of get all my ideas in order. So now I need to take a look at the Common App personal statement prompts, which you can see here. I'm going to move that over just a little bit so make sure you can see that. These aren't that important, but it is good for you to look at them. They can give you some inspiration. Maybe you see one of these and you're like, oh, that totally is like for me. That's totally the thing that I want to write about. But to be honest, like, it doesn't really matter which prompt you choose. And you can kind of take any story or any idea and make it fit any of these prompts. It just depends on how you frame your introduction, and you can start kind of following the prompt and then deviate from it, and it's fine. And that's why I didn't start with this. I started instead with this stuff. And I started by thinking about this stuff for days. I've been thinking about this thing that I'm gonna write for a while, because I'm thinking what can I do? What do I want to share? So that's basically what's going on here. Is I've already thought about this stuff, but now I'm going to look at these prompts and try to think what I would, use this for. And so for me, I'm pretty sure that I want to build this around prompt number 3, because it's about questioning a belief or challenging an idea. And that's very much what this story is going to be about, questioning a belief. So I'm pretty strongly agree with this one, that this is the one that I'm going to use. There's like, you can see how similar some of these are, though. A realization that sparked a period of personal growth. That would also fit just fine for what I'm gonna write. Like, I could even turn it into this. Like, the truth could be the concept that I find so engaging. Like, I could easily make this work for several of these prompts. So the prompt is not the most important thing. I think it's important that you look at them and that you do make sure that, like, your essay does fit with these prompts, but you can make it fit. Like, you can totally take any idea. Like, I think the only one here that I'm looking at that I couldn't probably work with here is like 4. Because this story doesn't really involve something that someone else did for me. So I don't know that I could really, but even then I say that and I probably could make it work. I probably could. So yeah. By the way, we got the chat going. If you guys want to hop in the chat and like say hello, feel free. We'd appreciate that. You know, always welcome to have you guys talking to me. If you have any questions along the way, hit me up. But so I'm going to take this prompt that I'm going to use and I'm going to copy it into my document so that, you know, we just have it here, present, visible. There you go. And now, time to write stuff. I am going to be narrating some of my thoughts here, but I'm also going to have some moments where I'm just kind of writing. So, you know, again, I kind of have the chat here. Hi, Diana. Diana Fernandez. Hello, it's nice to see you. It's a real treat. You're filling me with inspiration. So yeah, okay. So I want to start this with a quote, and I already plucked that quote because I wanted to be somewhat efficient and so that you could see that I'm prepared today. But here's my quote. So I need to just tweak this a little bit. So I'm going to open with this quote, and this quote is kind of like the thing that defines this concept of the truth. This is the tricky part. So I want to play with those quotes on around the word, and I'm trying to think of like the best way to write that. I will go back and do a little bit of a, what's up, Esteban? I'll see you in the chat. How's it going? Thank you, sir. Love you. All right, I think this works. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird writing for people. Because it's pretty, you know, I'm bearing my soul for a little bit today. So a couple things I want to talk about for this introduction is like, I want to really establish this concept of the truth. And I've said it several times, obviously here, but I'm basing it off of this quote, right, that I mentioned from where it comes from. And I want to kind of give the reader a little bit of a tease. Like, I don't want to just straight up say what this truth is or like anything. Like, I'm trying to kind of bury that a little bit and wait for like the next paragraph to sort of explain this a little more. So again, even kind of going back to like this, how I found truth, you know, that being my like next point that I want to get into. I'm going to have to explain a little bit more about this, the truth, but I would like to hope at this point that whoever's reading this is like, okay, a little more curious about this. Like, what is the truth? Like, what does that mean? Why is he putting it in quotes? And I'm playing with that idea of the quotes around the word here to sort of say that like one day I dared to take those quotes off. Like I dared to sort of like question that this is the truth. And so that changed my life. And so then there's also this aspect of what prompted your thinking, what was the outcome. So those are parts of the prompt that I do have to get to, and I'm going to start working on those in the next paragraph here. So let's go to the next paragraph. Let's start working on that. The faster I finish this, the faster I can play D&D. But I am going to try to do a good job. So let's see how it goes. Hola, Tyler. What's up, Tyler? I see you popping in the chat. Y'all say hello to Tyler. He's the dude that's helping make Spanish subtitles for the channel, and he's also helping us out with essays, and he's just an all-around cool dude. So say what's up. You might be running into him someday. What's up, Salva? Also, I see you in the chat. If I get like a little lost in here and don't respond to people in the chat, I'm sorry. It's just like writing is kind of a Zen thing for me, and I don't have the new keyboard. I was hoping to have my new keyboard, but I'm still working on my like Logitech thing. So if I had that, you'd be getting some really good ASMR keyboard strokage right now. So, but we don't have that. I don't know if I like this direction that's going. That's also the thing I tell people not to do a lot is don't delete your stuff. But then again, like I do that, so you know. But you could minimize how much you delete. Like I think it's a good idea not to go back and delete a bunch of stuff. I would never go back more than like a single line, really. Like I'll leave stuff here and then I'll build on it and yeah, hopefully make it better. Okay, so I'm kind of explaining here, like, again, you notice how I'm not saying it directly. Like, I didn't say, like, oh, the truth is that I was in it. Like, but this is kind of like the connection here. And, yeah, people who grow up in this religion are told that they have the truth and that you are in the truth. So you can make those connections on your own here. You can kind of figure out what I'm getting at with this. And I'm trying to establish this, like, you know, what prompted your thinking part of the prompt, and going back to my, you know, how I found truth idea here. I'm starting to kind of question this belief and look for the truth and try to find like the real truth. So I got to get into that now. Like I've kind of shown how I started thinking about it and questioning it. So now I kind of like have to bring it home and start leading to this stuff. Okay. Getting into the next half of this. Again, I don't want to dwell too long on this. Sorry. I could make this like 600, I could do thousands of words on what it was like to grow up as a Jehovah's Witness and what it was like to live through like some of the things I lived through. And I've already written that stuff. That's out on the internet somewhere if you want to go search for it. But that's not what this is for. Like I'm trying to focus on my university application here. I got to keep that in mind. Like that's what this is for. So I'm showing somebody, you know, my thought process and how I got to this point, but I also need to bring that point home. So I'm going to go into that now in this third paragraph. So, and then we'll go back and we'll see how my word count is doing. By the way, I'm not focusing on the word count. Do not focus on the word count when you do this. Just write, just get it out there. Write as much as you want, and then you can worry about it later. I'm at 275. I think that's totally fine. That's also counting the stuff up here, so we'll deal with it later. Yugoslavia. What's up? Context, please. So, yeah, for the chat. We're writing a personal statement. This is something that if you guys want to apply to university in the United States, you're going to have to do this. I put a video out about it Thursday that kind of explains it more. So basically, yeah, this is just like a document that I'm writing and kind of like giving an example of how to do this. So, you know, you can watch a person write this, and this will be up later for you guys to review because I explained some of the initial parts at the beginning too, like of the process. These ideas aren't perfectly connected down here, but we'll go back and we'll play with it a little bit. I don't want to dwell too much on this. So this is where I kind of want to start getting into these goals, and I might be able to make a better transition at the end of that paragraph to accomplish that. But let's get into what these are a little bit and how they work. And then we'll go back and we'll see how to make it better. Yeah, the first draft is never the best, so we'll get there. Okay. No, you don't have homework, dude. You never have homework. When do I ever give you guys homework? I literally never give you guys homework. And yet you guys always are like, when do we have homework? I never want you to have homework. I think homework is evil. Unless you're in one of my IELTS classes or SAT classes and you need to get a good score, in which case, yeah, do your homework. Forget what I just said. Which type of essay? I mean, so the thing is, like, it... Yeah, Tyler came in a bit late. Thanks for sharing that, though, Tyler. It is up here, but yeah, you're right. Like, you don't see it when I'm scrolling down here, so... yeah, so thanks for that context. What type of essay do I recommend? Honestly, like, it is sort of a very much a personal process, man, and it's hard to say what you should write, but what I was saying kind of at the beginning here is, like, you guys should try to find your theme, and, like, my theme is truth. Like, this whole thing is about the idea of truth, and so by having a central theme, like, I think that's a really good way to sometimes figure out what your, you know, ideal essay is about. Like, if you're doing a personal essay, it needs to be something about you. And so it should be something that you care about a lot and something that's like really important to who you are. And for me, that's this idea of truth. I really value truth and honesty. And I'm kind of explaining that, like how that comes from my upbringing, but ironically, like was also not my upbringing. And it's this weird thing for me. So like, I feel like that's an important part of who I am. And it's something I would like to share with, you know, a potential university here in this scenario. So that's kind of how I came to that conclusion. But I had a lot of different ideas, and it just was something that I kind of settled on after a couple of weeks of like thinking about what to write. So that's the other thing, is just think about it, guys. Always think about what you got to write when you're not writing. Never seen cooler handwriting. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little messy, but it's my messy. It's my pseudo cursive style. I tried to turn it into a font once and failed. I couldn't standardize my letters enough. What's up, Gonzalo? I see you. What's up? So yeah, you see I'm trying to kind of transition out of my own like personal experience here and kind of get to the bigger picture of like why I care about this now and why I want to do something about this. Like I see this as sort of a bigger problem that I think is important to solve. All right, so kind of going back to my last two ideas here. OneNote likes to hang a little bit on this, but I've kind of established how that's motivating my goals. I'm getting into this idea of what my goals are, and the last thing down here that again, like, sometimes I gotta just like refresh this page. Yeah, my plan. That's what so I need to get into this, like what those goals are, my plan, and I think I've established like my motivations and how I see a bigger problem. So now I want to get to this like kind of final part of this, which is where I want to change that, like this problem that I've identified here. This is pretty real talk, by the way. This is like my philosophy to teaching. So, you know, again, I'm trying to write this from the perspective of someone applying to university, but like definitely some things in present day are leaking out. So just, you know, roll with it. But yeah, this is what I think. This is real talk. Just check my stream here real quick. All right, looks like everything's been good. What's up, Jose Carlos, Marcelo? I don't know if I want to say that. You didn't see that. That's not totally true. That's not that I don't want to teach forever. It's that I want to. 16.2 to get into Harvard. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough, dude. Y'all got to understand, Harvard is... I'm going to be real with you. You shouldn't be trying to get into Harvard. Like, I mean, go ahead and try and apply, but like, don't make that the real goal, because that's really hard. And it's not that you're not necessarily capable. It's just that like I'm sure a bunch of you guys would do fine at Harvard. The problem is that you're looking at the best people from the best schools, from the best countries, all competing to get in there. And it's like, they honestly just don't admit a lot of people here in Peru. And they're tough. I mean, it's like you could be the best student in the history of your school and still only have like a 4% chance of getting in. Like it doesn't make sense to place your bets on a 4% chance. You can make it a goal and you can apply for it, go for it. But like your efforts are better spent somewhere else, to be honest. Yeah. Thank you for, yeah, you see, I got the shirt on. Peru ganó ayer, así que, yeah. Okay, so let me see where I'm at with my word count now. I feel like I think I have this. We're at 674. So I want to go back and just kind of take a look at this. I'm not going to go through, obviously, like a whole hour. Like I could do multiple revisions and rewrites of this, but I want to kind of go over what I've done here and sort of show you guys what I think I need to improve at this point. So I've opened up with a quote. I think I have a pretty good explanation of this idea. Like I've established this idea of the truth, and then I contrast, this and sort of explain why I started to question it. And I leave it with a bit of a cliffhanger, like my life changed forever. Take the quotes off. Like I'm trying to play a little bit with the language. I'm trying to play with this concept of the truth. I'm trying not to like tell you exactly what it is yet, because I want you to keep reading. I want you to be like interested in where this is going. So I start answering that more in the second question or second paragraph, and I sort of explain more of like my thought process in this, and how I came to questioning some of these ideas a little bit more, where I talk about suspicions creeping into my mind and like my logic behind it. And then when I kind of did examine it, I'm, explaining how I came out of this idea and how I kind of like got to understanding that I wasn't really living in the truth, Sorry about that. So I think the only thing I'm not liking here so much is like, I feel like this sentence is kind of disconnected from this paragraph, so I might take that out right there. Actually, it's funny you say that, Esteban. Like I had some people that told me they wanted to get admitted to Harvard just to say no to Harvard, like just to reject Harvard, which I thought was pretty funny. Okay, I'm at 660. I need to trim down a little bit more. Another thing I'm trying to do that I would really recommend for a lot of people, and I am going to make another video soon about like writing tips that you can use, but one thing I'm trying to do is vary the length of my sentences a lot. Like I did like a 2-word sentence to start this paragraph to kind of hit it with some impact. And then I went into some like a longer idea, and then again, a short fragment. Longer idea, short fragments, And so by doing that, I'm kind of keeping the pace interesting and trying to like, keep the essay from feeling like just repetitive. If every sentence is the same length and the same tone, it kind of just gets boring after a while. So that's some things that I have done here. I think I can shorten this. This is a little rambly, be myself. I could just say that. And then this is another thing, like you want to look for where you can trim words, where you can like use less words to say the same ideas, because that will give your sentences a lot more impact. If you have a really long sentence with like repetitive ideas, then you're actually diluting the message and you're making it weaker. So I'm trying to kind of like look for ways where maybe I sort of repeated myself or like said something twice in the same sentence, or maybe where I've chosen to use like a few words where I could use one. Wait, why is it 6:55? Oh yeah, we're down here. 6:53. 3 more words have to go. I can take out that then, because I already have one here. And I could say at once instead of at a time. And so that should take me, I need it. And I can take, you can almost always take out be able to. And there we go. 6:48. That's a wrap. I'm just checking out the chat for a couple minutes here. So yeah, did I take the SAT or ACT? So when I was in high school, I did not take the SAT or the ACT. I was told I should, and I did not, mostly because I was not encouraged to go to university when I was in high school. My family never went to university. There was like one person in my entire family who ever had a degree. It was one of my aunts, and everyone thought she was crazy. She's not. She's awesome. And if you're watching, Peggy, love you. But yeah, like I kind of grew up in a world where I was told not to go to college, and so I didn't really think about it, and I didn't push for it. And I look back on that, and I was like, I questioned that later, and I decided to go to college here in Peru, so I didn't need the SAT. And since then, I've obviously like taken it for practice, you know, for score stuff. I took the SAT English parts to see how I do. I'm terrible at math, so that's why I don't teach math here. But yeah. So this is going to go up on prepwithscore.com. I'm going to leave this like as an article there that you can find out. You can go to the site. I'll show you real quick where you'll be able to see it. If you go to the website, I'm going to have like down at the bottom of the site, there's this section where we have like articles that we post, where I haven't updated in a while, to be honest. I got somebody helping me with those too. But we're going to put a blog post up that is about this with a link to this video as well, and a link to this document that I've just typed up. I mean, I don't think this is a final version. Obviously, I would continue to revise this and look for more ways to improve it. And maybe I would have somebody else read it. I would read it out loud myself, start to finish, but I'm not going to bore you. But you know, like there's a lot of things I could have done with this to maybe improve some of the like, you know, some of the things here. And it's only through like getting another person's perspective that you can really do that. Cause like, the more time you spend in your own writing, the harder it gets for you to evaluate it objectively, because it's like your baby and you've worked on it so much and you love your baby. But like, you need somebody else who hasn't seen this to look at it and tell you what they honestly think about it. And so that's one of the things that like, you know, when we work with people, we do that. Like I have other people look at my work and I ask other people to share me their work, and like we bounce it back and forth because it's good to have another set of eyes. And someone might see something that they don't like that you would never have thought about. So I always encourage people to like, you know, share their work with other people, get other people's opinions, ask your teachers, ask, you know, a counselor if you have one, ask friends too who are like good at English to check your stuff out, because it's a really good way to make your stuff better. So we're going to continue to be talking about these things because like we've got a whole bunch of essays that are going to be coming up soon for U.S. university applications. So I'm going to be doing some other videos about like supplementary essays, just writing advice in general, you know, and if you guys need any help with it, just let us know. But it's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight. This video will be up on the channel, on the YouTube channel, and also on Facebook since people are on there right now. And you guys can go watch it back anytime you want. I might, if I have some time, I'll make like a super cut edit of this. Maybe that's like 10-15 minutes long, if that's something people would like, so you don't have to sit here and watch me, you know, ramble and type for 45 minutes. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So next week we're going to be doing a speaking workshop, Duolingo speaking test thing. Like a lot of people asked about the Duolingo English test, and So it's weird because there's not a lot of prep material for it. I took the test, so I've been preparing like a speaking practice like PowerPoint with a bunch of exercises in it. So I'm gonna also make that visible on prepwithscore.com after we do that live stream. So that'll be next week's live stream. And if you guys have any ideas for things you would like us to do on these live streams, please let us know. Like if there's anything you think would be cool to do together, like leave a comment, send it to me in the chat, whatever, like however you want, because that stuff helps us help you. I want to give you guys the things that you need to succeed in this process. So just tell me what you want, what you really, really want. All right, guys. So UCLA. All right, I'll check that out. I'll see what we can do. University's tricky. I try to find these interviews with people. You know, we're getting there. We got another one coming out in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna be recording another interview this week with a big university. So, all right, I'll see what I can do. See what I can drum up. So that is all for us today, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by the channel. I hope you have a wonderful time, and I'll see you next week.